Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'll be making a laptop stand in this video. At my work, my monitor screen and my laptop are at two very different heights, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to look up at my monitor, and anytime I need to look down on my laptop, I have to go all the way down to my desk. So I want to make that just a little bit easier by making a stand so the two screens sit parallel to each other, and it's a lot easier to drag stuff in between the screens. So I'm going to show you guys how to build that, so stick around and see what I have planned. Alright, so here are the plans that I have for this computer stand. I went ahead and designed it in my computer and printed it out so that both sides will be exactly the same size and shape. And these two pieces in the middle that you see right here are the legs. This is what will support the laptop. And I'll take this sheet of paper, glue it onto a piece of plywood, and cut it out with my jigsaw and use that to cut out the shape. This flat piece on the top right here, you can see, is where the laptop will rest. Right here are two holes that I'll be cutting out for the bar to go across the center that will hold the two pieces together. Right here you can see the bar that I'll be using. I will cut this out so that it will set into the two legs, and then I have pins here that will slide into a notch or a hole that I'll drill into this bar, and that will hold the whole pieces together. If I ever want to take it apart, I can pull those pins out and collapse the stand. So here are some measurements. It'll be about 7¼ inches high, and then the length on the top will be about 10 inches from the outside edge, and then 9¼ from the inside edge where the laptop will rest. Now for the bar, I have the measurements at 14 inches long, and then on the inside where the legs will actually rest, it'll be a little bit shorter. It'll be about 11½ inches wide where the legs will hold up the laptop. Now that the shapes are all cut out, I'm going to take it over to my bench sander and smooth out all the edges. The sander couldn't fit into the corners, so I'm going to use a file to smooth out all the hard to reach areas. Now that the legs are basically finished, I need to make the bar that will connect the two in order to hold up the laptop. Now, I was originally planning to make the whole bar round, but I changed my mind and I want to make it square all the way across except for the holes, and a couple inches on each end to insert into the legs will be round, but the rest will be square. Now I'm going to take this piece of wood and turn it on my lathe to carve the sides down. I want this to have about 1.5 inches on either side. This will allow me to drill a hole on the legs and be able to slide this in and hold the two together. And I decided to use my old lathe. This one doesn't have much power and it's a lot lighter than the one that I just made, but it seemed like it was such a small project to pull the big one out and set it up, so I decided to just use this one. And it works all right for these small things, but if I do any larger jobs, it's definitely worth pulling out the big one and using that. All that's left is to drill the hole into the legs and then drill a hole into the bar that goes across on either side to slide in the pins that will hold it together. So before I drill this hole, I want to make sure they're both lined up perfectly. I'll clamp this down so the holes will both line up and the rod going across will be level. The bar is a little bit tight. This is how I wanted it. That way I can trim it down so it'll fit in there snugly instead of being too loose. So it's a good problem to have. I'll just go ahead and trim that real quick so that it fits in the hole perfectly. Now we'll need to mark the holes for the pins to go into on either side and drill those out and then cut the pins to the right length. This pin is a little snug, so I'll sand that down so that I can easily pull it in and out with my fingers. But other than that, the stand is all finished, and all I need to do now is put a coat of boiled linseed oil on this to protect the wood, and then I can check it out and see how it works with my laptop. Now the last step I always like to do is add my brand to this project, so I'm going to go ahead and heat up my branding iron, get that ready, and put my mark on this project. Now with branding, you want to make sure you don't get it too hot. You want it hot enough obviously to burn the wood, but you don't want it to scorch all the wood around it as well. So I get it just hot enough that when I press it up against the wood you see smoke, and that should be a good indication that it's ready to brand. Alright, now all I need to do is assemble this and then test it out with my laptop. And I really like this design. I like the feature with the pins. I can easily slide them in with my hands, and I made them so that they're a little bit tight so they hold it all together. It doesn't wobble around at all, but if I need to take it down and take it apart, I can do that, and it folds up a lot smaller. So here it is finished, and with my laptop on top, it works great. I love it. It lines up perfectly with my monitor, and it's a lot easier to look from screen to screen when they're both side by side at the same height. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. And don't forget to hit that like button down below or subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the next one.